Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and these are two competing mid-size crossovers, or at least that's how the EPA specs it. But I'm curious if you are cross-shopping these two. What we have here is the new for 2025 Nissan Murano in their top platinum trim, all-wheel drive, two-row luxury on-road crossover. And what we have here, thanks to my friends here at Jack of Diamonds Honda, is the new for 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport, a more rugged off-road ready vehicle that is ready to take on the likes of the Toyota 4Runner. We have tested both of these individually here on the channel and do a deep dive of both, but in this video we're going to see how these compare and see if they're worth a cross shop. Yes, gearheads, huge thank you to Jack of Diamonds Honda for supplying me with this Passport Trailsport, and to Nissan for supplying me with their new 2025 Murano. Both of these are brand new mid-size two-row crossovers aimed for the modern market, and they are priced very similarly, even here in not directly competing trims, but there are a lot of differences between the two of these that go beyond simple cosmetics. First off, we'll start under the hood, what motivates these two, because we have old school way of thinking and new school way of thinking. Here under the hood of the Passport Trailsport, we get a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6, making 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, a 10-speed automatic transmission, sending power to all four wheels via their IVTM4 torque vectoring all-wheel drive. And yes, that can send up to 75% of the power to one rear wheel if needed. This thing is off-road focused, and that off-road technology really does show itself well. Unfortunately, I won't be driving these in this video. Again, we have a full video covering each of these. Coming over to the Nissan, we've got the future way of thinking, or at least the current way of thinking, because we have a small turbo 4-cylinder. No more V6 in the Nissan Murano. For 2025, Nissan powers their Murano with a 2-liter variable compression, a turbo dual overhead cam 4-cylinder engine, making 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, sending power to all four wheels through a 9-speed automatic transmission using their intelligent all-wheel drive system. This is very much geared more towards on-road driving, because we only have 3 drive modes in here: Sport, Normal, and Eco, whereas you get off-road terrain modes here in the Honda. Despite their differences with powertrain, I do appreciate how both don't use any prop rods, but rather gas struts to hold the hoods up. Let's talk a little bit about exterior style, because these two vehicles could not be any more different in that particular department. The Honda has gone the way of boxy, like so many vehicles in the class. Boxy all the things, boxy and rugged. So we have those orange tow hooks that do break away in the event of an accident, but very square, broad shoulders. We get these amber running lights on the Trailsport trim. We get the nostril to feed in some air. We get Passport stamped up there in the front. It really does look like a Bronco, or a baby Bronco perhaps, or a 4Runner. It definitely does compete and have off-road intentions, which we will get to here in a little bit. But as we move around to the profile, that boxiness continues. It really is a good look. I fell in love with this the first time I saw it. Given its off-road intentions, we do have those rugged plastic lower cladding, which gives you a little bit more confidence that you're not going to scrape up your paint. And what says off-road intentions more than some general grabber tires? So yes, we have some 18-inch wheels with general grabber off-road tires here, very much telling you the purpose of this vehicle. What I can't show you is underneath. We have actual underbody protection here on this one, protecting some of the vital components underneath. Again, speaking to the intention from Honda with this vehicle. As we move around to the back, you can see we've got LED brake lights, but incandescent turn signals. We get Passport stamped into the back of the hatchback here. And I do like the black and white contrast on this one, whether it be the glossy part with the Honda logo there in the middle, or all the black lower cladding on this one. We also get an integrated tow hitch receiver, and this Passport Trailsport can tow up to 5,000 pounds. Where the Passport went big, boxy, and bold, the Nissan Murano went curvaceous and definitely on-road focused. Its competitors really, honestly, are more like the Chevy Blazer, which, despite its name, is definitely on-road focused. The Ford Edge would be another competitor of this, the Toyota Highlander, not the Grand Highlander, but the Highlander, though that one does have a bonus third row of seats. But for 2025, we do get the new corporate face with those running lights that are flanking the grille. I don't know, I've always felt that the Murano either gets the front right or the back right, but they can't get the whole thing right. This black panel between the headlights, which are actually up top, does say Murano, much like the Passport has Passport stamped on the front and rear, but it just gives it a weird kind of shovel nose look, and that grille is down so low. What are your thoughts on the front end style of this Murano? As we pull around to the side, they've got everything else right on this. We have the contrasting black roof with that chrome design line. It really does look svelte. It looks very luxurious as we come around to the side. And again, speaking to the tires and the intention of the vehicle, we have 21-inch alloy wheels here, wrapped in some Bridgestone Alenza tires. We see those tires on likes of Cadillac Escalade and some very high-end luxury vehicles. So this one, again, it's very much a luxury on-road vehicle that it really does impress when you move inside. But yes, very curvaceous, very svelte out here. Definitely not leaning into the current big boxy trend. If you want a rugged Nissan crossover, you would need to go with the Rogue or the Pathfinder. Both of those offer a Rock Creek off-road trim, which is very similar to Honda's Trailsport. As we come back to the back, I think they nailed the rear end styling. Very curvaceous, very wide hips. We have all LED lights back here. The lighting, the entire rear end design reminds me much more of their high-end Infiniti line of vehicles than it does a Nissan. It really does look premium back here, and I think it absolutely outclasses and outstyles the Passport if you want to pull up somewhere that gets you a little bit more attention. Before we move inside these vehicles, I did want to show you the key. I really appreciate how Honda gives you a nice compact proximity key here with all the necessary buttons: lock, unlock, remote start, hatch, and a panic. You can also deploy a physical key. They are numbered, which is very nice and would come in handy in our household. And to unlock the vehicle, you simply just walk up to it and grab the door handle. You can lock it by pressing right there. It does power fold in the mirrors, but we're going to unlock it and get inside. The interiors of these two is where I wish I could have gotten the top Trailsport Elite because they compare more directly, but at just over $50,000 as this one is equipped, they are priced very closely, so it is a fair comparison between the two in that respects. As we look at the door panel here, you can see we get 2-person driver's seat memory, but then we have some cloth door inserts. We have that repeating throughout the interior, but some decidedly not gloss black design trim right here that is textured. It is a very nice, very premium. Multiple storage places here on the door, so 3-level storage, which is very welcome in a vehicle that will be used for families. Again, leaning into the off-road ready nature of this one, we have all-weather floor mats that are a dealer installed option. Multi-way power adjustable seats with 2-way lumbar here in this one. And then again, as I mentioned, we have the leather and cloth with all the orange accents here on this one. Unfortunately, again, because we do not have the Trailsport Elite, these are heated only seats. They are not heated and ventilated. It is a slight miss of trim comparison, but I am doing the most that I can with what is available to me. As we come inside, you can see we have a full digital gauge cluster, full screen right there. And we're going to go ahead and put our foot on the brake and push the engine start button right here. Let the vehicle come to life. My seat moves into place, and my goodness, that AC feels so good. on this warm day. We'll go ahead and start over here. You can see we've got more of that cloth seating or material that we saw on the seats and on the doors. You can see hatch button, heated washer fluid, but a couple dummy blanks right here. Air vent, no gloss black, no real adornments over here. Typical Honda steering wheel. You can see volume controls, ADAS controls, your typical Honda steering wheel. Back behind here, you can see we have a fully digital gauge cluster. You can control what is displayed on that gauge cluster in a couple different ways, but mostly you are going to be using these wheels right here. You can go with a more traditional round gauge design versus this bar design, but I think this goes more with the rugged look. No head-up display on our model, but we do have this very large infotainment unit here that does have Google built in. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, all of which we really like. We've got Passport stamped here, just in case you forgot which vehicle you're in, because the interior very much borrows from the three-row Pilot, just so you know. You've got the Passport. We do have a storage cubby right here. It does have a rubber liner with a topography style design in it, which is very nice. It'll keep a lot of hard plastics from rattling in here. More of that cloth. We have dual zone, actually tri-zone climate in this one. Automatic climate, but you can adjust the rear simply by pushing that button right there and toggle between them. So tri-zone climate, heated only seats, but you can get ventilated on higher trims, which again, we sadly don't have because they are just selling too quickly. USB-C inputs for the infotainment and for charging, though we do have an additional charge port right here. A little bit of storage right here. Big flat rubber lined storage area here. We do have a Qi wireless charger with a power button. I love that there's a power button. In our time with the one we tested for a week, it was hit or miss whether or not it worked. I generally left the power of this off and used my USB-C charging. We get some more of that interesting material here, but sadly some gloss black and a high touch area, and we get push button controls for our 10-speed automatic transmission. Push for drive, push for park. You kind of have to pull back for reverse, which all makes sense, and a push button for neutral. I kind of wish, especially given the off-road nature of this, we actually had a mechanical lever here, but you get what you get. Here we have an electronic park brake, electronic park hold, engine start, stop, defeat, downhill descent control, and drive mode. So we have multiple different drive modes. You can see sport, normal, econ, snow, trail, sand, and tow. So a lot of different drive modes here in the Trailsport. And then a very wide center console with a lot of storage inside. It is rubber lined. It is going to be a very quiet place to store some hard plastic items if that is what you wish. But yes, very wide vehicle, and that is made evidenced by just how wide the center console is. Coming down here, we have a non-damped, non-felt lined glove box, but you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, I guess. That is the one shortcoming here in the overall design of the Passport that I will give it a slight knock for. Looking up here, we do have some sunglass storage, and we do have a big panoramic moonroof with a power retractable shade. I do appreciate how there are two different buttons or switches for the shade and for the glass panel that opens. I like that a whole lot. Coming to me, you can see I've got plenty of headroom even with this glass panoramic roof above me. But let's go check out the front seat of the Nissan. Before we move into the Nissan, I too want to show you its proximity key. It's a little bit larger, but still nice and compact, not like some big chunky other ones we have from other brands. All your necessary buttons here, but they're a little bit harder to see. You can see we have remote start, lock, unlock, hatch, and panic, and you can deploy a physical key if necessary. We do not have a completely passive system here on the Murano. You have to push that button, which locks it, and it does power fold your mirrors. You can push it again to unlock it, and then you can get inside. When you do, this is where the platinum trim really shines. We have the semi-aniline, heated and ventilated massaging front seats. Again, kind of speaking towards the nature of this vehicle, where the Passport is rugged and off-road ready. This is meant to coddle you and pamper you in luxurious style. I do like the two tones that we get in here. It's ivory caramel, which I really appreciate. And then we have some contrasting work here. We have some ambient lighting here. Two-person memory seat, which I like. Some gloss black around our window controls, but we do have express up and down. Nowhere near as much storage in the door as what you get in the Honda, but still plenty. And moving down to the seats, multi-way adjustable with 4-way lumbar and massage. So I do like the quick access button for the massage. I do also like the two-tone nature, so ivory and caramel. Again, they are heated, they are ventilated, they are semi-aniline leather, and they are very nice and very comfortable. They are Nissan's zero gravity seat, and I remember the first time sitting in this, driving it to go take pictures, just being impressed with how comfortable I was. Another thing I really like is the contrast stitching here that does match the exterior paint on our particular tester. I have not seen any other Murano other than this color combination, so I can't speak to how this looks on other trims, but I would suspect it is the same contrasting stitching. This is just the hero color, Aurora Blue. As we move inside, you can see we have a 2-spoke or single spoke, however you want to look at it, steering wheel, and you can see we have an engine start button right here. We have dual screens, much like what we see in the Honda, but it is a more continuous integrated look here, and the graphics just feel a little bit more outdated versus what is in the Honda. I just really wish Nissan would hire somebody in their graphic arts design studio that will bring the graphics up a little bit. They just feel a little bit dated to me. This feels a little bit cumbersome. You can actually scroll through multiple different things here on the center screen. All of that is controlled here on the wheel. This button right here, depending on where you have it pressed, can control either that with the wheel, so you don't have to touch the touchscreen, or you can control this with your wheel. And yes, I can pan through multiple different things here on the center screen. But yeah, that would probably be the most logical, simple gauge view right there. But we like to keep it on our fuel economy readings. Though I don't find myself looking at it too much because we do have a head-up display in this one. It is rather simplistic. It just shows you your current speed and the posted speed limit thanks to traffic sign recognition. But if you're using Apple Maps or whatever map system is integrated into your phone or into the vehicle, it will display turn by turn up there, which is very nice. I'm not in love with the touch controls here. It's all like a single button panel that you kind of move around. You can see it's all connected, and then we have these angled wheels here. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst, but definitely not my favorite. The steering wheel is not leather wrapped. It is a leatherette, but it is very soft. It is very squishy. It does feel very premium. So to that, I give Nissan kudos. As we look over my left knee here, you can see we have a lot of different controls. We do have a heated steering wheel, hatch release, that turns on and off my head-up display. So you can see I can quickly turn it off. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. And we have our steering assist button right there. So you can turn it on and off, but you do need to be using ProPilot. We do have auto brake hold in traffic and electronic parking brake, just like in the Honda, though they place it in a slightly different area. Here we have one big volume knob. We have a track forward and back button right here. Our hazard button is right here for symmetrical sake. We have some more gloss black here that says Murano, so we like to tell owners what they bought when they move inside. Again, more of that interesting material. It's not metal by any means. It does look a little bit like metal, but it is clearly plastic. As long as you don't touch it, it feels very premium in here. And then we have this wood look section. We first saw this in their Aria, and they're bringing it across the vehicles. In their lineup, you can see we have dual zone climate control in this one. I really like it. As you adjust it, it does adjust here on the lower part of the display. Again, we do have heated and ventilated seats with massage. All of that is controlled here, which I really like. Moving down, we have even more gloss black, like a lot of it, including our push button controls for our 9-speed automatic transmission. I will say, even though we aren't driving these, this isn't my favorite interpretation of how to deal with and interact with a transmission. It feels like it always takes a moment after I push a button to truly get the desired gear that I want. I am parked close enough to the Honda right there that the parking sensors are chiming in. This one does have 360 cameras. Unfortunately, that Trailsport does not. You have to get the Elite trim for that, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. We do have some cool camera views here on this one, including a wide view and an under vehicle view. that is not a live view, but it remembers what you drove over and displays that where the vehicle is here. So it is a very cool option that would work well off-road. Here we have our different drive modes, again, Sport, Standard, and Eco, so nowhere near as many off-road focused drive modes here in this one. We do have our auto hold defeat and our quick access camera button, 2 cup holders here, big storage area here, decent sized storage compartment here. You can see we do have a little storage shelf in there. Not quite as wide, but it is nicely softly padded, but we do get more storage down here in this big pass-through that is rubber lined. So if you put something down here that is hard plastic, it isn't going to rub or make a lot of noise. Rear view mirror here, we get our sunglass storage there, and then again we get 2 different switches, one for the roller shade and one for the opening panel of this panoramic glass roof. Nissan automatically pauses it at halfway through, but it does let in a lot of light here to this ivory and caramel interior. I still have plenty of headroom up top, but let's see what the back seats of these 2 vehicles look like and how those compare. Moving to the back door of the Honda, we do not have the passive entry, so you will need to make sure the vehicle is unlocked before coming up to the doors. As we look at the doors, we get multi-tiered storage, we get the cloth accents, all the same materials and designs back here on the back that we get up front. Very usable, very practical. No built-in shades here on this Trailsport. You would have to bump up to the Trailsport Elite. And I know I've been talking about the difference in trim of these. If I did have a Trailsport Elite, it would be very similarly priced to this Murano in its platinum trim. So just food for thought there. The back seats, much like the front, we get the cloth and the leather with the accents here in the middle. We do get 3 across seating. But one thing I really love about this as a father of a kid in a child seat is we get 3 across lower latch points. So 6 total lower latch points for child seat installation. And I already talked about up front just how wide this vehicle is with that center console. That translates to a wide 3rd seat back here in the back, which is very welcome. We do have a split folding seat back here. It is very flat folding that does extend our cargo area. We'll talk about that as we wrap the video up, but you can get to that from the side. These unfortunately do not recline. We do have a center seatbelt in the seat, which is a nice option. We do have a fold down armrest with 2 cup holders. And we do have an adjustable center headrest here, all of which I like a lot. Again, a very flat load floor with that all-weather floor mat down here, speaking to the off-road nature of this Passport Trailsport. We get some storage on the back of the front seat, plenty of legroom sitting behind my desired driving position. Again, I like the cup holders built into the doors that go with the armrest cup holders. We get air vents on the back of the center console, though no controls here on this Trailsport trim. I do believe the Elite trim gets rear controls for the rear AC, but I do like how this is its own zone that can be controlled from up front. More USB-C power and a household style plug right here, which is very welcome, and no additional storage down low. And moving around, coming to me, you can see plenty of headroom. I'm very comfortable back here. I loved it in our week with the Trailsport, though I barely rode back here. My mother-in-law rode to Austin and back, said it was very comfortable, but did wish it reclined a little bit more for that long road trip. Coming up to the back door of the Murano, we do not get the lock unlock button here like we do on the front seat. So again, you are going to have to make sure the back doors are unlocked before you approach them, just like what we saw on the Honda. Just a nice little safety feature, I assume, there, if that's how you want to look at it. But when we open these doors, you can see we get all the same materials and design themes from up front back here in the back. So back seat passengers are not forgotten. In fact, we get built-in sunshades, which you know we really love here. Nice padded armrest. I just love the use of materials back here, though we do get some gloss black, which is not my favorite. Coming to the seats, again, the seats two-tone, just like up front. Fixed in place headrest, which does make installing child seats a bit interesting, though the center headrest is adjustable. And we do have a seat back mounted center seat belt. Unlike the Passport, we only get lower latch points on the outboard seats, not on the center seats here. So if you do want to put a child seat in the middle, you will be using the seatbelt mounted center seatbelt. We do have a fold down armrest with 2 cup holders, a little storage area tray there, I guess, for phones, but it is all hard plastic, so just be wary of rattles. As we come to the seat itself, we'll go ahead and fold it down from here to show you, yes, it does fold flat. I do appreciate the 60/40 nature being split the way it is so that Tucker's child seat can stay over there. Coming into the vehicle, you can see plenty of room back behind me in my desired seating position. I do like the nice cutout here, but no storage on the back of the driver's seat, only on the back of the passenger seat. So you are left out a little bit over here. You don't get the same amount of storage in the door that you get in the Honda, but that's just sort of the design choice that Nissan chose here. We do get air vents on the back of the center console, though this is not its own zone. And we have heated outboard seats, which I really like, and some more USB-C power. No storage down here, but that's okay. And then again, the sunshade does open and close in different sections, but I do have a nice view out of it right up here. I've got decent headroom back here, though the sloping roofline does cut into it a little bit more than if I were up front. And we'll go ahead and see, no recline here either, but these are very comfortable, just like the front seats. One thing I absolutely must talk about on these two vehicles is the build quality. They say the sound doors make when you close it is a completely fake sound, but I just want you to hear the difference in closing the front and the back doors of the Honda versus closing the front and the back doors of the Nissan. This back door is what really lets me down. As we're always putting Tucker in and out, I just feel like it's a little cheap sounding, like there's a rattle in there, like something isn't quite bolted down quite the same. But the Honda definitely feels more well put together when it comes to those back doors. As we move to the cargo compartment, both of these vehicles do have a power operated rear hatch, which is a very welcome, luxurious feature in 2025 that we kind of take for granted now, but my goodness, the cavernous space, thanks to the boxy overall design on the Passport. And they really have leaned into overlanding, so you can put like gallon-sized jugs here in the side. So if you need water or fuel on the road, you've got many different places to put it all the way around the back of the vehicle. It is a long stretch to the back of the seats there, and we even have some underfloor storage here. We have a temporary spare, and we get a nice call out to the Trailsport logo there. But if you are overlanding, you know a temporary use spare is not going to be any good, especially given those general grabber tires. So Honda has thought of that with this flip up section here. We do currently have this insert in, but if you took that insert out, you could put a full-size spare right here on the driver's side, and it would not hamper the rearward visibility all that much. So Honda really has thought of that. We do have some additional power back here and no remote folding back seats. So there are no physical latches back here to fold those back seats down. So as I showed you when I was standing next to the vehicle, that is how you will expand the cargo area. But my goodness, there is a lot of it. As we look up, we do have a handle here, but we also have a button to close it, and you can see hold to adjust the set height. And I already mentioned, yes, we have a trailer hitch with 5,000 pounds of tow rating. So we look at the back of the Murano, they have hidden the hatch release button right there in the Nissan logo. And when it opens up, you do get a fair amount of space, but it is nowhere near as cavernous as the very boxy Passport. So you do pay a penalty for all the svelte style here on the Murano, but I would say there is plenty of space back here for all your needs. And Nissan has thought about you if you need additional space. So we do have little cutout cubbies here on either sides of the load floor. And looking down here, we do have some space around the not spare tire, but we have the subwoofer for the Bose sound system. So you can see there is some additional storage space down here. Lots of sound deadening. Again, speaking to the premium nature of this vehicle, it really is supposed to be an upscale on-road vehicle. We do have the optional rear cargo mat that does extend up the backs of the seats. And one thing that the Murano has that the Honda didn't is these levers here, these latches here, that do help fold down the back seats to expand your cargo area. So you can get more cargo space back here if you need, which I really appreciate, though I did have to give it a little bit of a shove myself. Moving up, we do have a lock button and a hatch button that will close the hatch back here. So I'll go ahead and push that lock button. Hopefully it doesn't lock me out, and it does bring it down to a close. Now, we do not have a hitch on the back of our Murano, but we do have a 1,500-pound tow rating. So again, speaking a little bit to the differences in these two vehicles' purposes. Well, there is a quick look at two competing vehicles, at least as the EPA classifies it, with this midsize 2025 Nissan Murano in its top platinum trim. Very luxurious, very on-road focused, and the new 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport, ready to take on the trails with plenty of room inside in all rows and in the way back as well. Different ways to spend just over $50,000, and which one appeals more to you? What's very interesting, despite all their differences, we do have off-road numbers for both vehicles, and the ground clearance is nearly identical, though the towing, approach, and departure angles are way off between the two. So I wouldn't venture too far off the beaten path with this one. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. Let us know what you want us to test next in the comments. You can find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But thanks to Nissan and Jacko Diamond's Honda, I am able to compare these two for you. Until next time, gearheads, bye.